Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, ladies and gentlemen of the House, first, I would like to thank my colleagues in the Virginia Legislative Black Caucus for organizing what we've come to know as Black History Month speeches, highlighting the importance of Black history and, for that matter, U.S. history and world history. This month is a month for reflection, for education, for community, for celebration of Black culture and the countless Black Americans who have changed our world. But it doesn't and it can't stop there, because Black history is not just something of the past. It's being made right now. In fact, it's today and it's tomorrow. This past year, we've once again seen the racism that continues to infect this country come out of the shadows. We've witnessed more murders of Black men at the hands of police. We've suffered through a virus that has worsened existing racial and economic inequalities. We all watched in horror as our U.S. Capitol was overtaken with insurrectionists and white supremacists. All of these events were devastating, but yet they were not surprising. They, unfortunately, are a continuation of the centuries of racism that this country was founded upon and that sadly persist today. However, to quote Maya Angelou, if you don't know where you've come from, you don't know where you're going. Black History Month is important not only because it uplifts Black achievement, but because it helps us understand how we got here. We spend much of our time during this important month looking backward, remembering the men and women who dedicated their lives fighting for Black Americans. However, our fight for racial equity is not over. History is not static. It is something that solely exists. It is not something that solely exists in the past. If we look around us, we see history being made each and every day, even here in our Commonwealth. An important piece of Black history was written this summer when people took to the streets to protest the senseless murder of George Floyd. Thousands of Virginians all over our Commonwealth rose up to say no more, and they demanded change. You know, personally, I remember taking my wife and children to the newly renamed Marcus David Peters Circle. This circle was once a symbol of the Confederacy, perhaps its most prominent symbol. This monument has now been reimagined as a symbol of New Virginia and a tribute to Marcus, yet another young Black man who lost his life at the hands of Richmond police. Now, I'm the first to admit that being at that monument was a very emotional experience. Looking at the pictures of young people whose lives were cut short by those charged to protect them was one of the most challenging but necessary things we've done as a family. And I know that, as difficult as it was to try to explain to a 12-year-old and an 8-year-old what happened and why. But for all the emotion and the heartbreak of that day, seeing that circle reimagined and knowing that people will keep fighting for justice gives me hope for our Commonwealth and our nation's future. It was reaffirmed for me at that moment with my family that I was going to fight as hard as I possibly could for equality and justice in our Commonwealth, not only because my family deserves it, but because all Black families and all Black children deserve to grow up in a Virginia where racism and prejudice do not threaten their lives. I took that moment with me into the special session where my colleagues in the Virginia Legislative Black Caucus put forward a robust agenda. Bills that focused on criminal justice reform, on addressing and combating racism, on police accountability, are but a few key examples of history that are being made today. As a General Assembly, we took some very important steps in ensuring equity and equality for all Virginians, and for that, I'm proud and grateful. This year has reaffirmed our work is not in the past because our work is not yet done. We don't celebrate our heroes for only a month. We honor them every day. And we are not just Black for 4 weeks out of the year. We are Black all of our lives. And we have a responsibility to fight for the person next to us, reach a hand out for those who are behind us, and leave a legacy for those who are yet to come. So, Madam Speaker, as we celebrate the next several weeks for Black history, I hope that just one of these words has helped someone. Thank you, Madam Speaker, and the members of the House for this privilege of speaking in honor of Black History Month.
Thank you so much, Delegate Bourne, for inspiring us. Appreciate your words.